Amaka Okafor, how are you doing?
I'm really well, thank you, Ryan. How are you?
I'm good. It's so good to connect with you. It's such an honor to have you on the show, and it means so much for you being here. How's everything
Oh
going for
no,
you?
really good. Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's everything's good. Life feels good at the moment.
Well, I just spent a deep dive into your new show, Black Rabbit, but as my audience knows, before we jump into the work, let's start at the beginning. Where did you grow up?
Oh wow. I grew up in a place called Birmingham,
I love Birmingham.
which
I
is,
just saw Cillian Murphy last night talking about Peaky Blinders. So,
did you actually?
yeah, I did. Yeah, yeah.
Where?
He's doing the new rounds for Steve. Have you heard of that movie that he did with Max Porter?
No, cool.
So there's a writer named Max Porter. He did a few. He did Small Things Like These. I don't know if you saw that film. They have another collaboration together because I think after the Oscar one, Killing got a good production company together,
Yeah.
and it's about a school in the UK that's like trying to reform youth who kind of are have temperament or mental health issues, and it's just kind of dealing with him as the schoolmaster at that school helping these children.
Wow. That sounds cool, man.
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely interesting. I love their work together. They did a play
Mm.
together, but we're here to talk about you. So tell me.
Sorry. Yeah. Well, yeah, I grew up in a place called Birmingham, which is you know about it from Peaky Blinders, but it's sort of in the middle of the country. And but really I've moved around a lot. I've lived in loads of different places with my family. Um and
Talk,
my
talk,
dad because go on, sorry.
I hope it's okay for me saying this, but traditionally when people think of Birmingham, it's like very working class. Was that kind of the beginning of like did you have a long stint there when you said you moved around a bit? Like how long were you in
Yeah, I'd
Birmingham?
say probably my formative years were there. And both my parents are immigrants, really. So I was never really aware of the whole class thing. It wasn't until I was an adult when people kept talking about class and like the North-South divide. And I was like, what do people mean when they say that?
Wow.
Because I just wasn't brought up with the knowledge of that. I just knew we just were poor. We just didn't have money. Um, but and also because race kind of disrupts the class thing in a way.
Mm.
So I just sort of was blissfully unaware of that. But yeah, Birmingham is very working class. But also like I'm so proud of Birmingham. I was just there this last weekend and there were these it's full of these amazing canals that run all the way through it because of the Industrial Revolution. And so that was how people brought all of their goods into the city because it was the heart of industry, Birmingham was for the country. And but all the canals still are still there and they're just so beautiful and they're lined with like old warehouses and factories that all have like trees growing out of them now because they've just been disused forever. But if you know the routes, you can walk to any neighborhood in Birmingham by a canal, basically.
I was told there's more canals in Birmingham than there is in Venice.
I've heard that too, but then I've heard somebody say that's not true. So
Who
I don't know.
knows?
I like it. I just think it like romanticizes Birmingham. So I'm like, I'm here for that.
Totally. Well, talk to me like, were your parents artists at all? Like, did you grow up reading? Like, how did this whole thing start to, like, what was your earliest exposure to the arts, if you can remember?
My dad's a musician. He's a singer-songwriter.
Wow.
So
Still
I sort of yeah,
amazing.
he's a reggae artist. Yeah. So I basically grew up kind of on the road with him, just going to his gigs. Like he has these stories about like when I was a baby, him like having his guitar case in the wings, and I would like sleep in his guitar case while he did gigs and stuff.
Wow.
Um, and so I grew up watching him on stage, and usually during his set there's quite a bit of improvisation in his performance. So there would be some songs where he would just put his guitar down, and the band would still be like on a groove behind him, and he would pick up a djembe, which is like a big drum, and just play. And you never really knew how long that section was going to go on for. Sometimes he would just dance. Sometimes he'd put his guitar down and just dance. And it was kind of scary because you didn't know where he was going. You were on the edge of your seat, like going, oh my God, is this a fuck up? Like, is this going to go on for too long? But he was somewhere else. Like, he was channeling
Wow.
channeling something else. And I feel like just growing up watching that was my beginning of creativity. But also on the other hand, my mum really, really taught me to read very young. I'm actually dyslexic, but I think my dyslexia would have been way much more of a hurdle for me to get over if she hadn't really got me on the reading and writing train early. So I was a voracious reader, and also my dad was a performer. And like for my mum, she used to do these exercises where to get me to do work outside of school, which I was like, this is so long. Why am I having to do extra work? She'd get me to make up stories. So she like we had this big scrapbook where she'd draw the lines and she'd be like, right, you're gonna write a story and I'm gonna draw the picture and you can color the picture in. And so we were just telling stories from a really young age. And then I watched Eddie Murphy and Beverly Hills Cop and I was like, I want to do that. And
That's
then
amazing.
that's just how it all started.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Did you play music as well?
Yeah, but I always like dicking around. Like I'm taught myself how to play the piano and I'm teaching myself the guitar, but I can't read music. I don't know what the chords are. I love to sing. Like that's my dream is to get a part in like a film or a TV thing where I get to sing. Like, did you see that show? What was it like? Daisy Jones and the Six? Did you
Six,
see
yeah, I
that?
did see
Dude,
that. Yeah.
to get to be in a show where you're in a band and everyone's playing and singing, like I would love that.
I want to make it happen for you, so I'm throwing the leads out to any
Let's do it.
casting directors listening to this right now. We got to make sure I'll join with you on that. But that's
Great.
incredible. Talk to me then. Like obviously you mentioned Beverly Hills Cop. When you watched that, you know, as an audience member, were you aware that you wanted it? Like when you saw that movie, was it acting that pulled you in? Was it the filmmaking component? Like what was it
Oh, that's such
that?
a good question. I think it at first I thought I wanted to be a police officer because he plays a detective. But then I was like, no, I want to do what he's doing. He's very free in that movie. He's so loose and sharp, and he's very true. He's not like joke, joke, joke. He's not trying to make you
Yeah.
laugh. He's very grounded, but also like kind of frightening. Like you don't know. It feels like he's not really been told. He's not been hemmed in. It feels like. But I think you're right to say, like, was it the filmmaking? Because also it's a brilliantly made film. Like the beginning of the film is it really pulls you in before you see any of the characters. You have it starts in black, then the music comes in, then we fade up onto Detroit, and you're just seeing snapshots of Detroit, the city. And it's they don't make movies like that anymore.
They really don't. It breaks my heart. Like I don't know what has been lost upon the business, but it is such a piece of magic. And I'm so glad you singled out Eddie Murphy because I think he's one of the best that we've ever had as an American
He's
export of just
incredible.
yeah. I mean, when you watch that, you know, and your parents, you mentioned who are immigrants. Like, was there a conversation about like I'm interested in this? Like, you know, I know the UK more so than America has so much incredible like youth theater. Was that ever a part of your story?
Yeah. Yeah. When my parents separated, I was quite young, and I think
I'm
I
sorry, my parents separated too, so I
oh,
yeah,
thanks. It's a funny old thing, isn't it?
yeah.
Like you think you're okay until you're an adult and you look back and you're like, that was wild. That was a lot. And I think I'm trying to rewrite my story. I think I'd swallowed the story that I was difficult.
Mm.
Um, and actually I was a child and difficult stuff was going on. And I think my godfather said to my mum, have you tried youth theatre? And in Birmingham, there's this youth theatre called Stage Two. And this woman called Liz Light ran it. I don't think she runs it anymore. I think she's probably on the board. But she sent me to this youth theatre, and it was like Liz Light was really scary because she expected the best.
Mm.
Not only it's not even about performance. She expected you to try your best. She expected you to be on time. She expected you to know your lines. She expected you to be in the right place at the right time on stage, giving your full. Like I remember there's one day we did Oliver, right? And there was this one girl. who was in the chorus. And there's this song that's like down, 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 down and out. And she was just in the chorus. She didn't have a named part, but she was going for it. And I remember Liz stopped the rehearsal and she was like, watch her. Look how she's do you know what I mean? And actually, I think people would she'd probably get into trouble now because of how harsh she was with us. She never like hit us or anything like that, but she was strong. And I think a lot of parents would be like, that's too much pressure for my child. But actually, it gave me, because I didn't do drama school, and it really gave me, I was only in stage two for a couple of years, but it gave me some almost like theatrical like housekeeping.
Wow.
Like I really learned how to be a professional when I was like 8. And I was like I think I was the only black kid. I didn't have any friends. It was incredibly cliquey, but I kept going because there was something about it where I was like, I need to go every Saturday. I need to go to this thing.
That's amazing. Were you guys doing full-fledged productions every year?
Yeah, like Bugsy Malone, Oliver Twist. We did some improvised stuff. Like I can't tell you whether it was good or not, but like we were doing it.
That's amazing. I love that. And then the goal, a lot of these youth theaters, especially the ones closer in proximity to London, is they have agents and representatives come. Did that happen for you guys at stage two?
No way. But it felt more of a community
Hmm.
arts organization. And also I was only there from the age of probably 8 to 10, maybe.
Got
So
it.
then I left because we left Birmingham then. Um, so
Where
it
did you go
was
to after Birmingham?
well, where did we go? I went to London first. I sort of bopped around because dad was moving around a lot. I basically was living with my mum when I did that drama school. And then we then moved to live with my dad. And dad was moving around a lot. So we were sort of going wherever he was. And then I ended up going to boarding school, which we couldn't afford that. But I took some exam, which meant the government paid for my fees. So
Wow.
then I'm at this school with these other kids that might as well have been aliens. Like they couldn't have been more different to me. But the drama department was insane. The theatre that we had like a theatre with like friggin' lights, the thing that comes down and you can put different lights on and like winch it back up again. Like we
Yeah.
had a fly floor. We had a dressing room with mirrors with lights around around the outside. And it was old, like it
Wow.
was an old theatre, and it smelled like you could smell the wood, like you could smell the dust. Because the art department made the sets, the music department did the music. Like we made our costumes, and we had an amazing drama teacher called Mr. Turner, who just expected a lot of us again and believed in us. And we put on some cool plays there.
That's amazing. So, Mr. Turner, like, this theater sounds incredible. Was there a methodology to his teaching? Like, was there a technique? Or talk to me about this program.
Oh, I don't know actually if there was technique. He wasn't just our drama teacher, he was also English.
Wow.
And so he did Chaucer with us, he did Shakespeare. We also did like, View from a Bridge, like we did like
Oh,
all
you did
different kinds of
classics.
yeah, but there was no I wanted to do drama for A level, which is I don't know if you guys what you guys call your exams, but that like see, we've got like our GCSEs, which you take when you're 16,
I think that would
and
be
then
our
you have,
SATs.
okay,
Yeah, yeah.
and then you have your sixth form, where you have 2 years learning like three different subjects, and then you take A levels at the end, and that determines what university you go to if you want to go to university. And why am I even telling you that? There was a reason
We
because
were
we were
talking
talking
about
about.
the school, Mr. Turner. Like, at this point, like, I guess I should ask, like, were you fully in on this acting thing is like what I'm going to be doing with my life?
100%, 100%. All of my teachers were really, really. Oh, this brings us back to what I wanted to talk to you about while I was talking about A levels. All my teachers were trying to get me off the acting like trait. They were all trying
Why?
to just be. They were just like, it's not realistic. You're not going to be able to pay the bills, and they're not wrong.
Yeah,
Let's be real.
totally.
But also, I was like, this is what I'm doing. I want to do this. But also, it was an old white institution where people wanted to be lawyers, they wanted to be politicians, they were in the army. It was a big army school actually.
Got it.
But then I never had any main parts in the plays. I was always like part of the chorus. But then when we were doing our A levels, I managed to get the lead in the school play. We were doing the Caucasian Chalk Circle, and Mr. Turner gave me Grusha, and it was my first main part and my last play at this school. And I never realized this, but just before, like in our last year, the teachers had this meeting with Mr. Turner behind my back and basically said, you need to take her out of the play because she's going to fail her A levels. She's going to fail her exams. And he said, if you make me pull her out of that play, I will quit my job. And he never told me that until I left school. And I was like, Mr. Turner, man, he was the one teacher who believed that I was going to act. He was the one teacher who went, yeah, I see this for you. And
What a
I want you to
guy.
go.
Is he still with us, Mr. Turner?
Yeah, he comes and sees my plays. I love him.
Shout out Mr. Turner, man. Like this
Yeah,
is what I love for this show. That's incredible. And
yeah.
did that run for you of that production? Was it an amazing experience in your life?
Oh my gosh, I loved it because she's such a great character, Grusha, because she's a maid, and then she goes through this whole war with this baby that she raises. Then she has to fight for the baby at the end because he's a boy then. And it's just like power to the people. It's a power to the people play. And I got to really say some quite difficult text and learn how to get my head around that. And he really helped me and trusted me with it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm curious to ask you because even though I'm American, somehow I've had mostly a lot of British amazing actors on this show. And one of the things that's been consistently spoken about is like the class structure of the UK education system, particularly in the pipeline to the RADA, the Lambda, the Guildhall. If you don't go there, get out. Was there a conception of like this kind of like if I don't go to one of those drama schools, this is going to be really hard? Because I think at one time, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, like you couldn't even get on Spotlight unless you went to drama school, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. I was blissfully unaware of drama school.
wow.
I didn't even know it was a thing. Um, and I think maybe strategically, my dad just didn't really tell me about it. Um, because he was just like, you need a degree. You need a degree. Go to university. And so I was like, okay, I'll get a degree. It'll be drama. That's my degree.
Where did you
Um,
go?
I went to this university called Liverpool John Moores University, which was like an not a, it was not a fancy university. It used to be a polytechnic, which I don't know how to describe polytechnic to you. It's like not one of the universities that people sort of respect in the UK. They call the red brick buildings, the red brick universities. It's so snobby, this whole structure.
The Oxford kind of thing? Or
Well, they're a step below Oxford.
oh, okay, got it.
So it's like Newcastle, Durham, Leeds, like they're good universities, really good universities, but the polytechnics were sort of under that. And Liverpool John Moores used to be a polytechnic and then became a university. But our degree was very much devised. So it wasn't about getting texts that already exist and breaking them down into units and learning how to build a character. It was about how learning how to make drama from nothing.
Like
And our
a writing kind of.
no, literally like improvising and then I guess maybe it is writing, but we never like sat down and wrote.
Got
We
it.
just we just made shit up and then went over it again and again and again until it sort of settled and we knew what we were doing.
And
Um,
in an exciting way, or was that not really?
yeah. Oh my
Oh,
God, it
okay.
was so scary because devising just is scary. My butt is always like clenched. I'm
Yeah.
scared. But
Wow.
it was cool because like we also in the second year we learned how to do lights and sound and how to build sets. In the third year we got to direct. And like it was so 360. It was such a holistic view of making work. It was really cool.
So you understood every different department organization of like putting on a production. Like this is you did everything. Is all
Yeah.
the way up to acting in it as well?
Yeah, so the first year you're acting and you are the actors of the third year's plays. So the
Mm.
third years direct you in your first year. The second years do the lighting of those shows and build the sets of those shows and do the sound for those shows. So sort of around that, you're also doing other modules like that you get to choose, like creative writing or self-scripting, like writing from your own work, or like physical theatre, you know, all of this. It was quite avant-garde, actually.
That sounds incredible. So was this amazing time in your life?
Yeah, it really, really was. I've always been quite shy about it because it's not RADA, it's not Lambda, and it was very hard to get seen, to even get represented by an agent because I hadn't been to drama school. But now I'm really grateful for that, going to that experience, because we were quite a small year. Liverpool is the wickedest city. I don't know if you've ever been.
I haven't been. I would love to though.
Go, it's so
Yeah.
cool. It's such an alternative place and very cheap. So
Is that
you're able to,
Scouse? Scouse is
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly. Everybody
Yeah.
talks like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mace,
My friend Philip
Fulham.
Barantini directed Adolescent, so
I know Phil. Yeah,
yeah.
I've worked with him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
on the responder, right?
Yeah,
Or yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Great guy.
Yeah. He's wonderful. Yeah, Liverpool's the greatest. It's one of our best cities, I'd say. And so to be a student there, and also I worked in a pub for my whole 3 years. So I had like grocery money and I wasn't scared about, so I
Wow.
could like, I used to go out with £10. I didn't even bring my wallet. I'd have £10. I put it in my bra and just be out for the whole night. And then when it's time to go home, I just go home. It's like a small city, but like there's stuff there.
I
It's
love it.
really, yeah, it's cool.
Well, walk me through this for you specifically, because like one of my biggest regrets when I was in drama school was that I didn't really, and at the time they didn't really teach the business side of like breaking in.
Mm,
For you, while you were there, it was a 3 year program.
yeah.
Was there a moment that like oh that entered your mind like this program's gonna end? I need to figure out how to break in. Like when did
Yeah.
that?
Well, I was very lucky because I did work experience. So my school were like in your, can't remember what year at school, but you have to go and do work experience. And I was like, I am doing work experience in a theatre company. I just have to do that. So my dad sometimes wore like an acting hat, and people would just like ask him to be in their plays. So he'd been in a play that was a community theatre play, a prisons tour, and he had a connection with this theatre company called Riding Lights, and they are very much community based. So it's schools, prisons, churches, that's where they work. So I contacted them and said, can I do my work experience with you? So I did 2 weeks of like licking stamps and making coffee, basically, for them when I was 17. As I was coming up to the end of my degree, I wrote to them and I said, can I come and audition for you, please? And they were like, yeah, okay, come and audition for our autumn tour. And so I remember it was Valentine's Day, and I went and I auditioned. Oh no, maybe it was later than that. No, it's my university audition. It was like Valentine's Day. I went and auditioned and did this weird thing that I'd made up myself. It was like this, I'd found a speech in a book and I was like, I'm gonna make this really physical, and just did all this weird ass physical shit. And they just sat there a bit stunned in their chair. And afterwards they went, did you choreograph that yourself? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, oh, it's very interesting. And I was like, okay, thanks. They said, we'll be in touch. And I left being like, was that just really weird? Did I just do something really? Because, I'd never really auditioned before. I'd never seen anybody else's audition. You
Yeah.
don't know what you're doing. But then I remember in our summer holidays, I got a call from them saying, we'd love you to join us. And so I then did like 2 years of community theatre. So like did with them, then a different theatre company saw me in one of those pieces and I got to audition for them. So I worked between two community theatre companies for the first sort of 2 years of my career with no agent. And then I managed to get an agent
And the community theater would be in Liverpool, or were you bouncing around the UK a little bit?
all over the country, like not even a little bit, like literally one
Wow.
nighters all over. And we had the van and the set was in the back of the van. And we were going into church communities really, and the churches were putting us up in their amongst their congregation. So we'd turn up, back the van up, take the set out, put the set together, do the show, take the set down, put it back in the van, and then they'd split us up between their congregation. We'd go and sleep in some random house, and then meet at the van the next morning and drive to the next place that would be like 4 hours away.
Wow. Was this
Yeah.
incredible time in your life?
It was probably the hardest work I've ever done, but
Hmm.
it was also my training. Yeah, I
Got it.
really trained because you're in a church with no lights, really. You turn up and you figure out what lighting they've got. You work out where to put the set to best harness what they've got. And then you are literally looking into the eyeballs of your audience. There's no magic of like darkness. There's no
Yeah.
blackout. There's no real costume changes because you're doing it in front of everybody. And so you have to tap into that place of truth and believe it because that's all you've got. And so it then felt to me like everything else felt so much easier. Like I'll never forget my first proper theatre work after that, where I was like, what, there's like an assistant stage manager that sets my props. And what, like, I come off stage and I just put it on that table and then they're going to reset it for the next shot. Well, I just go and sit in my dressing room and wait until my scene. Like,
Wow.
yeah,
So would you say that experience is, for lack of a better term, where you started to find your voice as a performer?
yeah.
That's amazing. Like the fearlessness that must come with doing that kind of multi-encompassing work. I mean, that's amazing. And you mentioned that it was it at one of these shows that a representative signed you?
Well, yeah, so one of my dad's friends is an actor who, like, one of my dad's best friends, and he brought, do you guys have co-ops in the UK, in the US?
Like for apartments?
No, but it's probably a similar theme. It's like an agency, but it's owned by the actors and there's no one agent.
No,
And
we
so
don't
you are
have
all,
that.
okay. So
I
basically,
wish.
it's cool actually because it was my first ever agent, and you have to do a certain amount of days in the office so that you're sort of pulling your own weight. But what is cool about it is that you see the breakdowns come through from the casting directors. You look at the pictures of everybody in your agent and you suggest people for the, and so you see the description, you see the breakdown, and you very, like, I got in trouble my first few days working in the office because the main guy was like, Amaka, you're taking too long. Because I was like, I was suggesting everybody for everything because I came from physical theatre. So I
Yeah,
was like, I wasn't playing to type. I was like, anybody can do anything. And he was like, no, they're expecting what it says there. They're expecting for a postman, they want someone with a bit of a belly. They want like friendly guy. And I was like, what? Big postman? So it was really good, a good window in.
and I'm sure you learned so much about the other side of just like the business of casting, which like
Yeah,
helps you with typing and like understanding where you fit in, whether you agree with it
yes.
or not. And
100%. And it's one thing I still sort of struggle with is the whole packaging yourself. I feel like
yeah,
I just fight against it so much, but I also think the people that have managed to do that have experienced success, right? Once they've learned what they are and then they lean hard into it, it's really good for them. I
totally.
can't do it.
I know I'm in the same place myself. But tell me then, like those early auditions, like going from that theater company and traveling around, like was that a whole other side of the business that maybe you didn't learn in drama school, like the art of auditioning? Like talk to me about those early auditions.
Oh gosh. I have always really, really prepped. Like I always really, really prepped for auditions.
Mm,
But actually, having said that, those were the days when you would turn up 10 minutes before and you don't see the sides until then. Do you remember that? Did
I
you guys ever
do.
have that?
Oh yeah.
Kind of missed that. I'm not gonna lie.
I miss it too. I think it was a better way of doing things.
Even though it's slightly stressful because if you're dyslexic, you have to really turn down the fear so that you can actually see what's on the page. But I loved right, I have got 10 minutes to receive this material and
Yeah.
decide what I'm doing with it. And that's what it was. I mean, I was also auditioning with, do you remember when you'd like have a speech and you'd do your speech?
Yeah.
That was like, so like I was going around doing my speech until I sort of aged out of that. But then as I aged out of my speech, my auditions seemed to be more, this is the material, learn the material.
Wow. What
But I
what
always quite enjoyed auditions, I have to say.
I think there's so much more. I mean, I love the world when it was in person. The self-tape
Yeah.
thing has been uh,
But now I'm rubbish at in person. I've lost it.
you guys still have them in person? They don't exist in America anymore.
Well, they're starting to come back,
Got it.
and agents are like pushing for it, or like for a recall, the in-person
Mm.
part. But I honestly am like the awkwardest person now
I
in the room.
it's like relearning the violin. It's something that like for 5 years now we've forgotten how to do.
It's really annoying because also at home, the way that I can enjoy doing a self-tape is I basically pretend that I'm going out for the night because I don't really wear makeup unless it's a special occasion. So if I'm doing a self tape, I'll wear makeup now. So I'm like, I put the music on, I'm in my bedroom, I'm doing makeup as I'm going out. I try and make myself look cute. And then I'm like, I'm gonna have fun. And that helps me just have a good time during my self tape. And so I'm already in more of a relaxed state, but then going into town, you're like getting on the tube,
I know.
going to their office, sitting, hearing somebody else in the room.
It's crazy, man. I mean, I'd love for you because you've done so many amazing things in the theater world, both in film and television. Like, talk to me, before we even jump into Black Rabbit. Like, I'm so impressed with the work that you've done because I think one of the hardest things I know, even as an American, is for like someone who didn't go to a Guildhall Rada to do national theater productions. Like, talk to me about, you know, there's so many things I could ask you about, but like the earlier bookings that you got, whether it was at this co-op or another agency, like how did it feel to start
So big.
working? Yeah.
Yeah, oh, amazing. Because my goal has always only been to be able to pay my way through acting. That's always been my goal. So, as if I'm working and I'm getting paid to be an actor, I've just always been thrilled. And so I didn't have like, oh, I need to get here by this time in my head. I'd never really had that. I just was like, I
No
want to be
arbitrary
employed.
benchmarks. Like it wasn't if I'm not at 30, if I'm not the lead of Hamlet with Benedict Cumberbatch, I'm out. Because a lot
Yeah.
of actors impose that on themselves. And I am
Mm.
so glad to hear you say that. So thank you.
No, no. Well, also because I lived at home, so my family are out in the countryside, and I lived at home for a big chunk of my first chapter of working. So it meant that I'd get a job, say in Manchester or wherever, and I'd go and do that job. And then I'd come home, and I've got younger siblings. I've got little sisters that are quite a bit younger than me. And so I'd come home and take over the childcare and help, basically. And it just kept me really grounded. And I'm a countryside person, so the country really helps me just get some perspective. So I think if I was living in London, I would have known what people were casting for. And I
Mm.
would have been like, why am I not getting seen for this? How come that's happening? I'm not in that. And I had no idea what was being made. I didn't know who was doing readings or workshops for this and that. I just was like in the countryside looking after my little sisters. And then I'd get a call for an audition. I'd be like, oh, right, okay, I got an audition. But it was definitely been a slow build for me. It's been theatre, the community theatre, and then me realizing I would like to do theatre in like sort of not commercial theatre, but like theatre in a building rather than
Yeah.
like in a hall. So it always takes a period where I have had to say no to work and tread water for a bit while I sort of have to teach the industry that I want to do something slightly different now. So
Mm.
teach them to see me slightly differently. So be brave enough to be unemployed for a bit, wait for those for them to get a small role but in a building that I want to work in or in a company that I want to work in. So then that would happen. I'd do that and then build the size of parts in that space and then go,
Uh,
okay, I now want to be doing this kind of thing. So tread water for a bit while you teach the casting directors that's what you want to do, saying no to stuff. And then a small part in like one of these sexy productions comes. So you get to do that and then build the size of role in that. So that's why like it's really been a slow, consistent burn for me because I I've been just building without the I went to RADA thing on my
yeah.
CV. Do you know what I mean?
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. What was it that allowed you to just be able to keep that faith during that time to that, because like it's such a hard thing to do, and I have so much respect for the work that you've done and doing that.
Well, thank you for saying that. I think a lot of it is to do with having a performer as a dad. So
Mm.
I've seen him, there were weeks where we really did not have a lot.
Yeah.
Um, and I knew that was because it was difficult for him because he was self-employed, he was his own boss sort of thing, and he also was looking after us. So I think I knew I was under no illusion that it would be difficult, but I didn't have big chunks of time where I was out of work. I really worked. And so I was like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. It just wasn't like in the shows that everybody wanted to be in, but I was so gassed to be, touring a show around the country. And I was like, well, I'm doing it. I'm getting paid to be an actor. It's happening.
Yeah. Was there one that really started to open up doors for you? Like, I know you did Macbeth before the pandemic. Like, did that, because I know there's so many different echelons of casting directors in the UK that you have to continue to impress and get seen. Like, what was there a particular production that you think, like you mentioned, you kept leveling up, or the one that this finally opened doors that perhaps weren't opening before?
Yes, you know what? Well, actually, I'll answer that question first. Funnily enough, it was, I think it was being in Benedict Cumberbatch's Hamlet.
Wow.
And listen, I had a tiny part in that show, but everyone and their dog wanted to see that show.
I
So
remember.
like it was a show that everyone was talking about. I understudied Ophelia, but like I
Did you
had
ever get to go on?
no, but my
Mm.
understudy run was like the happiest I'd ever been on stage. And I was like, I don't think I can go back now. I can't go back. But because even so, like a shitload of people didn't get to see that show. But on my CV, it just says I was in that show.
Yeah.
So I noticed that I started getting the kind of auditions that I was like, okay, like the Royal Court. I got an audition for the Royal Court now. And that was for like a pretty good part in their upstairs space, which is a smaller space. Got that job. And bit by bit, things started to change. And the thing that really, really changed it for me, I've been so lucky to do some wicked plays that I've loved doing with directors that I just respect so much.
Yeah.
I changed agents. So I've changed agents maybe 3 times. The agent that I'm with now, the courting period was bigger than anything I've ever experienced before, like trying to get this agent. Because she was like, you've done so much good theatre. Why are you not doing telly? And I was like, I don't know. I'm not getting in the room. Like I can't, I'm not even getting the auditions. If I was getting the auditions and I wasn't getting the jobs, then
Yeah.
okay.
So like
But I
Star
wasn't getting
Wars,
the
you weren't really going in for those films when they were shooting it.
no,
Wow.
no. And so, I don't want to sit here like slagging off my other
No,
agents
no, of
because
course not. Yeah.
everybody's done stuff for you. Do you know what I mean? But I was like, I'm not getting in the room. And she was like, but I don't want to take you on if I can't change things for you because it's going to be a lot of work because these screen casting directors don't know you. So this is
Yeah.
going to be a big job. And so she really thought about it. She came to see a play that I was in. She was like, I didn't really like the play, but I thought you were good. And then
Love
and
her
then she
honesty.
fucking hell, man.
Yeah.
And then she sat on it for a bit. And then she was like, okay, come in for a meeting. And then she went, yeah, okay, I want to take you on. And she has worked so hard for me. And she has wanted things for me that I haven't even dreamt, dared to dream for myself.
Wow.
She is the one that sort of encouraged me to stop saying yes to mates, doing favors for mates. She was like, stop saying yes to these things that take up all your time, that means you're not available for the things you really want to be doing. I want this for you. This is what I want for your next job. And I was like, wow, she thinks that I could get that. And she's what, honestly, Alice, she's just an absolute G.
What a
I love
rock
her.
star. That's
She is,
amazing.
and she's coming with me to New York for the premiere for Black Rabbit. I'm so excited she can come.
Amazing. That's so
Yeah,
cool. I'm here in New York. We'll have to get coffee when you do. That's so it's
I'd
so
love that. That'd be
yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. Congratulations. And I love that story. Thank you for telling that. And talk to me about, because I know how hard it is from particularly having so many different guests from the UK on. When you meet those casting directors, was there how long between like that echelon of like, everyone that is doing both the American and the huge BBC, Netflix, British projects before your first booking? Was there a long time you and Alice were working together before? Because I think like was it Split that was your first big long running
Yes.
arc?
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it was a small part, but I had a scene in every episode. And so what was brilliant about that, that opened a lot of doors, that job, because it was a classy show. Everybody loved it. And I got a good bit of screen time. And it meant that I could be around actors that were extremely experienced and watch them and learn from them.
Wow.
Um, yeah, it was really, and Grace as well. I got to do this thing on ITV, which is like a detective thing where I was in it a lot but didn't say very much. So I got what was brilliant about that was that I was in the scenes and I got experience of like how to just fucking relax in front of the
Yeah.
camera, how to pick up a pen and not feel like an absolute douchebag. So like just to be a human being in front of the camera, like those jobs when you can look on the page and be like, but I don't have any lines, and you're like, cool, like just practice breathing in and out and feel okay. You're
Yeah.
not carrying any responsibility, just like enjoy it.
And then that's amazing. I imagine at that point, then, like, the audition started flowing. Like,
I've never, if I'm perfectly honest with you, I have never experienced the auditions flowing in. That just has not happened for me. What I do feel is a slow, consistent build. And even like since coming back from America, I came back in September last year, not a lot of auditions.
wow.
But I also think, apart from like various strikes and stuff like that, I think my agent has been shielding me from quite a few because she's basically said to me, when you start getting scared about money, then tell me. And she might like let me know auditions that are coming through that she actually doesn't want me to do.
Mm.
And so I think she is strategically trying to build my career, which I would like to do too. But I'm also a single mum and about paying all the bills by
We gotta
myself.
make money.
Yeah. And but
Avengers is
also,
shooting right now, so
but I also think like when you come from the background of like multi-rolling and doing anything and fitting yourself into any space, an audition comes through and you go, I could see it. You persuade yourself into it. And I really appreciate that. I think she's purposefully trying to leave some of those out because she knows I'll be like, I could do that. Even though since having my daughter, I'm way more discerning about what I decide to do because it has to be good enough to take me away from her. Um,
Mm.
so it's
Wow.
been great, actually. You can tell the caliber of work that I've done is drastically different compared to when she was born to now
Yeah, but the caliber of
because
your work is incredible. I mean, talk since we brought it up earlier. Talk to me about the responder and working with
oh
Philip Barantini, who's done the show multiple times. Like, was that a great Martin Freeman, right? Like, was that just incredible?
yeah, it really was. It really was. And also to get to go back to Liverpool where I stayed, where I trained, where I studied. So to get to go back to a city that I love and playing a boss as well. I was playing Martin Freeman's boss. Like what? Um,
The full circle
and just
element of just like going there for school and then coming back with a major, I don't want to say Hollywood, but British production. I mean, it must have just,
yeah,
like hometown
yeah.
hero kind of dream, you know?
I felt very proud to be coming back to Liverpool and being paid to be there. And yeah, and Phil, he directed a couple of episodes, which was really cool to work with him. And it was just fun. It was a really
Yeah,
fun, like I love filming. People always complain about it, but I just love
I
it so
know.
much.
It's the best.
It's so
It's
fun, isn't it?
it's such a gift, you know. I never understood it, you know. It's just like this is what we set our whole lives up to do, like bring a book,
Yeah,
you know.
literally. And like do admin. It's like time that I don't have at home to do admin. Like when I'm filming, I'm like, okay, they're turning around. Great. Let me just reply to some emails. Let me pay the gas bill. Let me sort out the phone bill. Like I get to be organized.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm curious to ask you because, obviously I think there's a moment for every British actor or any actor not born in America where it's like when people think of Hollywood, it's Hollywood. Was there ever a moment, whether with Alice or organically on your own, where you started to be like, well, what's going on in the States? Like, talk to me in regards to Black Rabbit of how the idea of like starting to work in American projects, how did this whole thing come together for you?
Well, I actually thought about America years ago. Um, when I was pregnant with my daughter. So this would be almost probably 12 years ago, actually. Um, I went over. Have you heard of these? Like, I can't work out if it's a scam or not, but it's these people who were like, come to America. We're going to set up some meetings. We'll do some workshops. We'll introduce you to some managers and introduce you to some agents, and we'll stay in a motel for 2 weeks. I did one of those. And they're like, if you want to get an O1, we'll help you get an O1. And so I was like, let me go and see what it's like over there. And I'd only just found out I was pregnant as well. So I wasn't telling anyone. So no one knew I was pregnant. Um, and I went and had some meetings and did some workshops with casting directors and I stayed a couple of weeks after, just in case I got some people who were actually interested, and a couple of agents were. And so I went back and had second meetings with them, and they were like, sign here, sign here. Pilot season is starting really soon. We'd like to sign you up. And I said to, there's two follow-up meetings I had. I said to one of them, I should tell you I'm pregnant. And she absolutely flipped out. And she was like, oh my God, what are you going to do? Are you going to have it here? Are you going to have it there? You guys have the NHS. We don't have that. What are you going to do? You don't want to have a baby here, blah, 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 blah. And she freaked me out so much. And I was like, okay, I just need to figure a few things out because I was still getting my head around the fact that I was pregnant myself.
Yeah.
And I came out and I remember sitting on the curb of the pavement of the sidewalk outside her house and just crying, just being like, what? This is so stupid. Why am I doing this trip now? And then I got in my car and drove back to my auntie's house. She lives in Santa Barbara. Thank God I was staying with family. Then I did my second meeting and I said to the guy, look, I'm pregnant. And he went, oh my God, congratulations. I've just had a baby. It's the best thing you'll ever do. He went, go home, have your baby. If you decide you want to come back, call me. And I was like, okay.
What a guy.
Lovely man, like
Yeah.
totally calmed me the fuck down. And then I came back and had my kid, and it just seemed like a big thing come to America. And so I just parked it. But I always felt I love it. I love America because my auditions feel different there.
Mm,
And it's to do with race. I feel like America is way more upfront about its race stuff than the UK is.
mm.
And so, like,
In terms of
in the
representation or honest about the way that we approach it.
the second one.
Mm,
Also a bit of the first, but like in America, I would much I would much rather know who I'm dealing with. So if I'm dealing with a racist person, let me know. I'd much rather know. Whereas in
yeah.
the UK, it's so suppressed that I can
Yeah.
feel it's there, but people are like, no, no, no,
The
we're being fair.
makes it
We're being
worse.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay. But in America, I felt very much like I'd go into a meeting and they'd see me and be like, okay, she's little, she's black. Now, who is she? Whereas in the UK, it felt quite like, okay, she's little, she's black, got it. We know who she is.
Yeah. Mm,
So that is changing here, it is, but it feels like it's at a bit of a glacial pace. And America just feels like they see me and they see the variety of where I could be from.
yeah.
They're like, she could be this, she could be that, she could be mixed with this, and it's just not a problem.
Yeah.
Whereas in the UK, sometimes I feel like people are like, we just don't know where to put her. We don't know, you know?
Yeah, totally. And the upstairs, downstairs costume drama kind of thing, you
Oh,
know?
I've never done one of those here. I would
Yeah.
love to. I would absolutely love to, but I just think I'm too much of a head scratcher of like where to put me. And I believe it will come.
Yeah.
I just feel a bit freer in
Love
America.
that
I
for
feel
you.
like there's less. I'm like if they want to put me in a box, there's like more boxes that I go in America.
Amazing. More work for you here. Let's come on to New York. We'll
Please,
do it. We'll do a production together.
I would love it.
So,
Would
so,
love it.
so obviously, pandemic happens, crazy. You were working in the UK, strikes happen, business collapses. At this moment, 2023, 2024, is that when you start turning to, I don't know whether it was with Alice or you went back to those American representatives to, did you continue the conversation that you had with that gentleman, or did Black Rabbit come through Alice?
Came through Alice. So
Wow.
there was a this casting director, Alexa Fogel.
I know Alexa
Um,
well, the best.
she's the
The
best.
Wire.
Exactly. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like she is responsible for Idris Elba.
I,
Let's not beat about the bush.
I know.
Um, but she actually got me in for a different thing. It was my first ever audition with her, and
For a different thing
she
in this show or a different show?
different show.
Do you remember which one?
So yeah, it was the one about fire. It was like a fire investigator. It's called like it's called one thing when you're auditioning and then they make it and
Yeah.
it's called something else. It's called like Firebug or something as an audition. I think
Okay.
it's called like it's come out not that long ago. It came out maybe about 6 months ago, and it's about people who are investigating arson basically. So they go into the
Ah,
wreckage and they work out,
got it.
what went down.
Amazing.
And my agent was like, okay, you've got an audition with Alexa. She will tell you if your accent isn't good. She will tell you she will give you notes. And I was like, okay. And I really prep anyway. So anyway, we did
How
it
was
on
your
Zoom.
American accent before? Did you feel good about it or?
Yeah, I felt good about it, but I think it's because I grew up just doing the American accent. Like
Mm,
we just did because all of the stuff we were consuming on telly was American. So like anytime we were playing make believe, we were American for some reason. Um, and it's just fun. Like me and my sister used to talk to each other in American accents all the time. Um, so I did the audition, and she literally, there was no chat at the beginning. We did the audition, and she went, "Pleasure doing business with you, ma'am." Ended it. And I was like,
this was on Zoom?
"Yeah."
Wow.
And I was like, "Was it good? Was it not good?" And she sent my agent an email going, "Amaka, very good." That was it. And my agent forwarded it on to me. And she was like, "You don't understand. From Alexa, this is really high praise." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Well, I did. And then I didn't get the job. And I was like, "Okay." Anyway, then the next audition that came from her was for Black Rabbit. And I was like, "Oh, okay. So she thinks I'm good
Yeah.
because she's got me back in for this."
Did it come
And
with
so I did.
Bateman and Law attached? Did you know that? Or
Yeah,
you did?
yeah,
Okay. Wow.
yeah. And I was like, shit. So I did my audition for her again on Zoom, and there was a bit more chat this time. And I was like, oh, okay, we're having a conversation, cool. And then again, no chat at the end. And then my recall was with Jason on Zoom, and
Amazing.
then that was it. And I
Wow.
found out like a couple of days later. No messing around.
How did that feel booking your first like being major American production? Was it just like,
Elation.
wow.
Elation. Like I'm still elated. Like it was like the best news. I was so happy. I was
Yeah.
so happy because I loved the script as well. I only got the first episode, and sometimes I find scripts quite difficult to read, and I just raced through this one. I just loved it, and I loved the character. Sometimes, when you read a script and you can just see the world and you
Yeah.
feel its spirit, and I just was like, this is going to be cool. This is just going to be cool, man.
And with him directing coming off Ozark, I mean that must have been equal. And Laura Linney, I mean, where it what was that like a 6 month commitment for you for this project?
Yeah, so me and my daughter basically moved to Brooklyn.
Wow.
Um,
I'm live in Brooklyn
and
now.
oh, where do you
Yeah.
live?
Williamsburg.
Very nice.
Where'd you stay?
We were in Clinton Hill, which I
Clinton Hill's
loved.
amazing. Are you kidding
I
me?
loved it.
Yeah.
Prospect Park was just up there. Like I honestly had the best summer of my life. I really, really did.
Yeah, I mean that production shot everywhere last summer. I mean, talk to me about coming here and having Netflix money to like. I mean, I'll be careful what I say here, but I don't think I'm giving anything away of like, pretty big budget.
Yeah, like I was like, oh, it's a scene that's set under the Brooklyn Bridge, and we're shooting it under the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah,
And
and
like one of my first scenes was in the middle of Chinatown, just like on the street. I was like, how are we? Okay, this must be a big budget. We are shooting here in Manhattan. It was so cool.
was it a great time getting to? I mean, because it's really very. I mean, obviously Jason and you do lead it, but you and the ensemble is incredible. Of that, was that just such I mean, to have that kind of like of a motley crew in the best sense of that term come together, was it just a fun ride of artists?
Oh, I loved it. I had such a great time, and working with the different directors was just so cool as well because each of them had a different vibe. and just brought something different, a different flavor. And all the other actors, like Cleopatra Coleman, is like my sister now. Like when I come back for the premiere, that I'm staying with her, and
Mm,
Chope, Derizu, also like family now. And Chris Coy, love him. Forrest, I just
amazing.
love these people, man. Because Forrest lives out on in the Rockaways. And when my daughter was with me for the first 3 months, and then when it was her summer holiday, she came back and was with her dad. So I had 3 months free on by myself. So I was like, I'm going to go to the Rockaways today. So I went, bought my little towel, put it on the beach, message Forrest. He turns up with some cans, and we just like spent the day on the beach. He took me to some restaurant on a pier in his local. Like it was the people were so the crew were incredible. Like every single person in that team was just a dream. It was so lovely.
Amazing. I love hearing that. And now, I think to have it in the world, like talk to me about that kind of buffer period, because I think that's the hardest thing most people that aren't in the business that know about is you go do this amazing thing, particularly something for Netflix that you couldn't really talk about for a year, and it's with Jude Law, Jason Bateman, and now it's going to be out in the world. Like, how does it feel to get people to see your character in the ride that you go on? I'm trying to be deliberately vague here, not to give away where this story goes, but it's a ride for your character.
Yes. Yeah, it is actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's great because I've watched it now, and so I'm like, okay, cool. When you sort of don't know and you watch it, you're like, oh God, am I shit? And then you watch it, you're like, no, no, I buy it. I buy it. So
I
I'm
love it.
pleased. I'm like, okay, cool. I believe it. I believe myself. So it was cool to watch it, see what it is now because it feels different. Um, and I am actually so ready, like when you're doing a play and it gets to the point of the play where you're like, we can't just keep rehearsing this now. The main ingredient we need is the audience. We need
Yeah.
them to teach us what this is now. And so it feels like the, the people watching the show now is what's going to give it real life. I can't wait to hear what people have to say about it. And like, fans are so creative. Like I did this show called Bodies, and like the fans are
Steven,
so.
yeah, how did I skip over it? Stephen Grant. I mean, incredible. I'm
That was a
sorry.
big moment in my career, actually. I
Yeah.
forgot to mention it too.
Yeah, I'm
That
so
was a
sorry.
massive turning point for me.
Let's talk about it if that's okay.
No, no, yeah,
Yeah.
no, don't be sorry. I skipped over it too. That Bodies was a big point for me. I think one of the main reasons why it didn't have the effect I was hoping for, was because when it came out, it was the strike, so we weren't allowed to publicize
Talk
it.
about it. Yeah.
Dude, man, like I was like, wow, I'm playing a lead in a Netflix show and I can't publicize it.
I know. It was
It
insane.
sucked.
I had to stop the podcast. No one could come on. I had a show. I was
Really,
on the Gilded Age. I
it
couldn't
was
talk about
intense for
it.
you guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool, congrats. What a
Oh,
great
it's
gig.
yeah, but it's just. I mean, so let's talk about it now. Let's give that work its credit. Did you ever get to know Steven while you were in Liverpool, or did you?
No,
Mm,
no, no. It was just when we did Bodies, and even then we only had a couple of days together actually.
wow,
Yeah,
because
so
it's
we just had
Barentini's best mate.
now, yeah. Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
well, they
yeah.
came up together.
Oh, did they? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they met on Band of Brothers.
Shut up.
Yeah, yeah, they've been
Oh, I
best friends
love
since they were like
that.
18.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah,
Since they were 8 or 18.
18, 18.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice. Oh, I didn't
yeah,
know that.
yeah, yeah.
Good bit of knowledge there.
But talk to me about that. Obviously, first, I now take back what I said. First experience working for Netflix. That show was
Oh
huge.
yeah.
What?
Yeah, I Netflix for Bodies actually I auditioned my absolute butt off for that show. Like
Mm,
really, really, I had to really audition and audition and audition because I was a nobody. Like they just didn't know who I was and they wanted a name. And the director, Marco Krauts Paintner. I need to practice saying his name actually. He's amazing. And Marco knew that he wanted me from like our first audition. In fact, even I sent a tape in and I came in for a recall and he went, look, I already know that I want you to do this, but you need to show XYZ in this tape. Now in this, they need to see that you can. I think it was be warm. You need to
mm.
show that you can be warm. I was like, okay, thank you. So we did that, then didn't hear anything for ages while they were trying to find a more famous person. And so then they brought me back in, and he came out to get me personally from the waiting room, and he went, "Look, I want you, but if it isn't you, it's the producers. This isn't to do. This is Netflix. They want a famous person, basically." And he was like, "But you're the right person for this job."
Wow.
So
What
that
a
really,
guy to share that with
I
you.
freaking love him. I
Yeah.
love him. He taught me a lot on the shoot as well, actually, about being seen, allowing myself to be seen by the camera, because I was actually hiding from the camera weirdly, and he
Mm,
like pointed it out and went, "Stop it." But what that did when he came and got me from the waiting room is it released me a bit. And so I just did the audition and I walked away from that audition. I just went, okay, the industry is what the industry is. I know that I've got the skills. This isn't about whether I'm good enough or not. This is about other stuff. It's about bums on seats. This is
yeah.
about drawing people to the show. And then luckily they got Stephen, because actually if they didn't get Stephen, I might not have got that role. Like they
Wow.
needed a big name because, and I understand it. A shitload of people watched that show because he was in it,
Yeah.
you know? And so, but then once I got it, I was so happy. I was so happy. I remember where I was. I was doing a play and it was a two-show day. And so I'd done the matinee and I was trying to sleep in my dressing room. I was trying to have a nap before the evening. And my agent called me and gave me the news. And when your stomach just turns into
Yeah.
like magic dust and you're like, sleep? I don't think I'm ever going to sleep again. I don't need to eat. I don't need water. I've
Yeah.
got a job.
Bliss, man. Pure
Yeah.
bliss. That's amazing.
And it was an amazing experience. I loved that job. I was used on that job, man. I was up there for like 4 months solid, and I was in every single day, every single minute, every single day. I was used. There's no waiting in my trailer. I was in everything, and I loved it. I didn't get tired. I wasn't
Yeah.
clock watching, and that was a real lesson for me as well. Of like, oh, when I'm enjoying the work, I don't care what time it is. I didn't realize that about myself before that job.
Totally. Oh God, I love
I
hearing
loved
that.
it.
But obviously, I know you guys are gonna have the premiere soon, and it's gonna be an incredible show, and obviously doing press with Jason and Jude. I'm so excited for all that's gonna come for you. But talk to me, Amaka. What would you like to do now?
I would love to do a film,
Mm,
actually. I'd love to do a movie of like, and like kind of part of me, I love indie stuff.
same.
So like some weird quiet movie I'd love to do, where there's not much talking, but you get to like do
Introspective.
something. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with being a cowgirl. Like I really want to be a cowgirl. So like some like expansive country stuff, or
In the
like
American, like frontier, got it.
now I'm actually writing something where it's now, but she's also a cowgirl. But or like action stuff. Like I'd love to do something physically challenging. It's cool when you like get a job and you have to learn a thing for that job.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
just cool that you get someone's going to train you how to like do a thing.
Do you feel like a draw to America a little bit now? Like you talked 12 years ago, like, okay, it didn't work for a variety of reasons because of your child and life, but now with this show coming out, do you feel a draw to like maybe come give it a little bit more of a try, maybe whether that's being here for half the year or
No, I would absolutely love to. I just love it. I love America so much.
yeah,
I know like it's got its problems, but everywhere does. And there's
100%.
just, I just think it's the coolest place. Everything. You've got every kind of terrain there. I
Yeah.
love the trucks. Like your guys' trucks, like the big lorries
Yeah.
that are still in that old-fashioned style, even though they're new. Like I love cars. I love old cars.
Wow.
And they're like I don't know, man. I love the food. I love how upfront people are there. And
Yeah.
I like people just tell you who they are. And I love that.
And you got to come do Broadway. Are you kidding me?
And I would love it. I actually did a play in where we did, the Lincoln Center Festival.
Yeah, of course.
I did a play in, I want to say 2008.
Wow.
There, in the Time Warner buildings, they've got like a
Yeah.
jazz theater. I did something there called the Bacchae with Alan Cumming was Dionysus.
Wow.
And that was a trip.
I
That was so
bet.
cool. A month in New York performing. Like I spent all my it's before I had my daughter, so I spent all my wages on like trainers, sneakers and clothes and seeing plays. It was very, very wonderful.
That's amazing. Well, talk to me. And what I'm about to ask you is not an easy question, but every guest that I have ever had on the show has answered this question. And I'll just kind of set it up a little bit. Obviously, since the pandemic, we've mentioned, in-person auditions, at least in America, have mostly gone away. The strikes, changed the business. Streaming is not profitable the way the business operated for 99 years. It's a really hard time for those trying to break into the industry now to figure out between social media and just the way of like having movie stars do television is a new phenomenon. So it's harder to get work. If it were you starting now, or for those listening that are starting now, any words of wisdom you might have?
Yeah, find out what it is in your life that helps you feel grounded, that helps you feel connected to who you actually are, and make sure you keep doing that. So for me, it's the countryside. It's being out in nature where my family are. And for me, whatever I'm going through, if it's difficult, there's something about nature, the cyclical pattern of it that you go through every season. And just when you think everything's dead, new shoots come. There's something about that that keeps me going. And so if you have something like, I don't know, playing football, or if you like to do shifts in your local cafe, or you like to paint, whatever it is that it's kind of outside of our industry that is who you are and makes you happy, keep maintain it.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I know that's not an easy question.
No, it's the only true answer I could give because my way in is so unconventional. So I don't feel like I can say, well, you need to go to drama school, you need to get an agent, because that's not what I did, and I'm so happy with my journey.
I mean, your
But
journey's
it's a hard
incredible.
journey.
It
It's not
is.
been easy, but it's been. I'm happy to be doing it now because now that these wonderful jobs are happening, I actually feel ready for them. Whereas a lot of these people who got these huge jobs where they when they were very young, we've had to watch them get better in public. So
You're not wrong.
we've had to, and they've had to make their whopping clanging mistakes in public.
Yeah.
Whereas
In
I've
an
got to
immortal
like,
medium too.
yeah, like that's it now. That just exists. But
Yeah.
I've got to like, I've been able to watch and learn and watch and learn and watch and learn and keep doing plays and sharpen my instrument. And then now I'm in my 40s and I'm getting roles that I'm in the running for stuff that I really want to do. I'm like, I can do this. I know I can do this.
You can, and you are, and I have absolutely loved talking to you, Amaka. I mean, you're an
Oh, me
incredible
too.
artist. This was such a gift and a real honor. And like, I mean this with every word of sincerity. Thank you for opening up and sharing. And like, please come back on whatever is next for you, because I know it's going to be something glorious, and nobody deserves it more than you do. And you're really just such a wonderful human. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Oh, Ryan, thank you so much. It's just such an enjoyable chat. It just felt like a real, what it was, just a real conversation. Thank you.
I've enjoyed this so much, and I'm just gonna say there's so many amazing things coming your way, and to be continued. Okay,
Yes, and I want to hear about your stuff, so we should go for that coffee.
let's do it. I'll give you my info
Yeah,
now.
yeah, do.